Top of the morning, ladies. My the or welcome to this first episode of What If Deku had a monster quirk or turned into a Nomu, more accurate term, and has a sister. No, not a daughter, but sister of. Okay? So the sorry. There's let's start from a very beginning. And this is the introduction, so bear with me now. I haven't made What If or my What If so dark. So this is the darkest one that I ever made. So bear with me now. Okay? So sorry. Took a drink. So where in this him was a that quirk or it's I was gonna say a quirk doctor, the one. Sorry, you could hear that in the background. The well, he was a like the doctor, huh? That engineers his like people's quirks and make adding more and more quirks to them. So, in one day, he saw the beautiful girl, Inko. Yep, I know that I said that, but it's how it is. So, on. So, Inko and Sashi grew a little bit close to each other's. Like they Alright. The that was the sneeze. I have this tendency to sneeze louder, so the so when Sashi and her got married, Histashi, or whatever his name is, I'll call him Histashi, but he and Inko had two children. First, Zumi, she's and in Deku. And of course, that was Zumi's his baby picture. She really liked All Might, okay? And the Deku, on the other hand, and 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 he says, or Dashi says, I'm gonna take this kid to becoming the world's first ever Nomu. Because at the time, Nomus, or in my What If, nomos never existed. So then he took Deku to his uh, lab and experimented on him, like transforming him into the most dangerous creature that ever lived, and into this. And Asashi gave him the quirks of regeneration, the reptile or speed, like unlimited stamina, and for because he did so many quirks, like Hisashi made. Because Hisashi, he had two quirks: fire breathing and create other quirks. So basically, he created one quirk for Zuko to only wield, is called, or not just one, he made three. Yeah. Infinity, Zero, and Imagination quirk. The, like, use your brain kind of quirk, if I really think about it. So then so Asashi, or when Deku he was also evolving too, because Asashi forgot that he can, when more aging that he does, more becoming. So he went from this to this. Yes, and then, but he's also a Numu, but you could see what I was trying to go for here. But he is the ultimate destroyer, kind of. It's basically like a high-end Numu, but way smarter and way more powerful, dangerous, even. So that was not even his final form. His final form is actually like when he hits 15. Do you see that big lizard looking thing? Yeah. Uh, the so he transformed into that, or his body was evolving, but not too much. So, and it was before, or like when he was, it transferred. It was like a wheel of evolution. It went from giant lizard to this guy to this guy. So, but when doctor says, or I call him the doctor, but you know what I mean, him got caught by Inko because, funny enough, sorry, let me see. Funny enough, Zumi he saw at the very young age, like here, I'll at a very young age, she saw her dad and becoming or like her, how will I put this? She saw what her father did to Zuko, so she crawled all the way to their mother and told her that, or because her first words were, or actually like sentencing, she says, mommy, that's experimenting on Zuko, as Inko had the same face thing, like, huh, well, so she walks up to him and tells him to stop experimenting on the children's. Oh, sorry about that. So I was itching my fingernail. So she like shuts down the machine and she walked over to Deku, that kind of Deku, and gave him a hug and says, so, as she took both of them, turns around, tells him that you need to stop being in your science experiments things and be act more like a father to him. So then time goes on. The Zumi he became like, it's a time skip one. So Zumi went from cute baby Zumi to the 15-year-old Zumi that, and her brother, of course, Inko says, I know that quirks are makes people turn into like mutation things, but you'll just fit in, Zuko. At this time, Zuko went from, or actually, not that entirely, but he was like this as when he was, because before her, of course, Zuko and Azumi were like the same age, like basically twins, and so they both went to school together, same school, and the sorry, and he was so buffed up that every girl at his or at their school wanted to date him him. So then when he got to UA, he basically didn't trip, but his sister did, because his sister was wearing that. And a person that caught on Zumi, he was actually was her brother. I was gonna say Ochako. Oh. So they both start going really fast, or because he had no stamina, and he went to like UA and the quirk thing, whatever that's called, exam, and he like kind of like what he did in canon, but and don't worry about the slime creature. They when Zumi and her brother was coming down that hallway. Sorry, I had to do that. Add that part in. So just to be fair, so the sludge villain went in and attacked. Hold on. Act. Sorry. Went and attacked Zumi. Okay, and they he so Deku had, or actually not that specifically, but he like grabs his sister like on her shoulder, and before I go any further, the other what if one, what if Deku was as a xenomorph thing in my video, the a quark called the pregnant one. Sorry, I had a shave, and so Zuku, or so, or and that one, pregnant quirk, that the xenomorph had, the thing, it was this one. There's a anime that shouldn't be revived, and it was this in one scene that the main character and was like didn't even realize that the because the scarf, it doesn't make sense, but the girl that had a scarf around her head in. So when she fell, he grabs her, or like, hmm, her scarf, and she got pregnant. That's what I was referring to. Like, when her, so that, but instead of like grabbing the scarf thing, he grabbed, or both shoulders, that of her. See her, or of Inko's shoulders. Just to clarify that up for you. Okay? So now get back to what if. So, or this one. So, sorry, I had to itch my ear for a minute. Alright, I'm back. So the sludge villain actually died because Zuko had a special quirk, and he did like what All Might did in that one episode of the anime. If any of you watch My Hero Academia animated one, he comes in full swing. Sorry. So the Alright. So now get back to the UA exam. So Zuko, who is, he did a like that written exam thing. He was the first one done before everyone else was, and he was pretty smart, like super smart, like Infinity kind. So then during that robots art part, whatever that's called, he went all, how will I put this? He went all out. Like, him transformed into that and just slaughtered every single robot. Like, he, even when he, or his power level, or his body could handle it. So, and Zumi just looks at him and says, "That's my brother right there." As she's like, and she also says that he's good at smashing stuff to bacon bits. Sorry if I make any of you go hungry. So he's like cheering him on, and the 3-pointer robot that was destroyed thing actually came up, whacked her behind, like on her back kind thing, and but before he, like, her own brother saw that, he or not crouch, but he, like, oh, how will I put this? He elbows that robot arm right, and he's like, or sorry if I goes a little bit off. So and when he says, "Yep, now the to take out these rest of these fools, these stupid robots," as he roars so loud about it. So, and all the robots that were scrapped was flew right at the 0 point robot, and Zumi and told Deku that there was a girl under that rubble, as both of or as he and her walked over. He picks up the boulder. She grabs. Take a guess who it is. Leave your guess in the comments. I'll wait. Do 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 do. It's El Chaco. Oko. So the so then the they're like, oh, I'm gonna. So after exam thing, they all went back to their house, and turns out that Zumi and was gonna get picked on by. I don't have that picture. Sheesh. By the Muriel, that guy. He was picking on her, telling her that your brother needs to stop going to this school and all that stuff. He looks like a monster. So when after he said that, his or her brother turns around, walks up to Mirio, and Zumi, he's like, easy now, brother. He's just trying to make you angry. Hey? As he says, I heard that he was trying to, or I'm no monster. As he looks at Mirio and says, I'm no monster. And stir. Or he says, I'm no monster. I only do what I am wanted to become a hero, not a villain. So if you are trying to make me mad, go ahead. I'll pummel you into the ground. As Zumi's in her head's oh boy. As her and Inko showed up, and because they both grabbed Zuko and tries to hold him back from hitting the guy or murdering the guy. And everybody else, every student, just looked at them as, of course, only person that really knew that Zuko was gonna go toe to toe with was actually, forget her name, but the I call her Big Hands Girl. So she karate chops um Monoma, or that guy right there, and tells him that don't pick on someone that's 100 times your size. He's as then All Might showed up, tells, or actually not All Might, Nezu, and then All Might. So Nezu, who was impressed at his speed, his intelligence, and the the like that stuff. So he turns away and walks away with his sister and his mother. And Nezu says, "What happened to here?" As Big Hands Girl, the one that was karate chopping him, says, "Oh, the that guy," as she points to Mirio. That guy was trying to pick a fight with the one of the people, and he chose the wrong one, and so he, thank goodness that everyone holds him back from or so he or so they're like, okay. I thought I had a picture of like Nezu and All Might, but I'll do with this picture. So the so Mo or not Momo, but Momo. Sorry, I keep saying Momo, but so then Monoma. That's what his got to class 1B, and so Nezu, who was like, or had that meeting of who will take Zuko. Of course, Eraserhead straight up tells them, because he saw what Momo, or Mo, I can't even pronounce his name, was picking on Zuko's his sister, huh? And so, or Eraserhead says, if we put both of them in the same class, he'll, or both of them will be, he, I think, are they related? One of the people said, yes. As Eraserhead says, yes. He, that monster that we all saw earlier, had a baby sister, or because he was the first oldest, or he's the oldest one, and Zumi was thus like, or actually both of them, or so So Eraserhead says, well, if we put both of them in the same class, then we will, or he'll make sure that hint, the no students will be harmed. Like, as All Might says, agree. Because that boy's power level was quite powerful by itself. As and put him in, or so they all agreed that put Deku and Zumi in the class 1A. Because Zuko got first place, but he doesn't want, like, self hate, like, doesn't like greedy stuff, not greedy stuff. So he and her starts training their quirks. Oh, I always forget. Zumi, he was, her quirk is actually almost as similar to her brother, but she has fire manipulation, self regeneration, and self revival. So if she dies, she comes right back. And kind of like that unkillable lizard from SCP. Yeah. So then, and they, the little, like, mats, or like those big disc things came in, and they like, okay, what do we do? As turns on, Zumi and Zuko are happy because during the entire time, Inko was so proud of them. Sorry, they and so, but little did they know, or of course, they both were so happy, like, to see how happy she is, or both of them are, like, both of them are smiling, and they both gave hugs to each other, and so did Zuko or Inko. Sorry. So then when they got to school, did like that quirk test thing. I call it the quick test. So then the heroes versus villains arc or thing, or actually during that quick test, Zuko threw it harder, like he threw the ball and it landed, or it was an infinity one. Sorry, infinity, and then because he has super strength too, and or before, like when he was like born, he had a same quirks as his sister, like regeneration and self revival. So both of them are mortals, basically. And but little did they know they had a third, or like, or they had two more before them. Inko kept a secret from them. The first kid was actually, or the third technically, was as the him, all calm, cool, collective, and the number four is actually, I forgot, was actually her, or actually their, or her sister. So that was, instead of two children, four children. So then, but they didn't even realize that. So then, but they both went to school, like him and her went to the same school as their own brother and sister are, and they got not class 1A. Eh, eh. And for their quirks, he has same thing as their, like, brother and sister. The But he has the blue flames, or fire manipulation, and he also has, like, mind reading, eating, and puppeteer. And her, all right. So she has a little bit of all the quirks inside her, and both of them were in class 1A. So, and don't worry about this picture. It's gonna be go fast. So they, Zuko, is like, where's class 1A? As even his sister, says, as, have no idea, huh? But as someone walks right behind them and says, "Here, let me show you around." It was okay. I know that dark creature was Zuko. Zumi is the girl, her brother, and him. I I just randomly throw names. So it would be Zark. I call it Zark, not Yu-Gi-Oh GX, but this is the my what if. So, being completely honest, I just throw random names out there. Zark would be he his name because he's related to Zumi and Zuku, and the his sister was I forget is called. Don't worry about the Niva. This is the I was trying to find the best picture, so I drew one out. So she was Solera, I think. Yeah, Solera. Not a car dealership thing. Or so Solera and I'm gonna change it to Zeldra. Huh? Zeldris's. So so both of them, like he's like, here's class 1A for all of us. Because they were super early. Like because Deku's speed enhanced quirk, he or I know that's so he became super fast. So he went in and oh, did I forget to mention the he also had or when I'll probably add more like children's to it, but Inco's like I believe in because they or he created another son, and not like by anything, but it was actually the fifth kid of theirs, the Stormbreaker or Zippo, not not Hippo, Zippo. I was trying to find some names, so so then so they are like okay, the as there was all four of them went to class and that creature was in a dark room and so then so after the quirk assessment testing the of course he puts on his usual suit thing like his he made or actually Nezu made a custom one for him and so that he can't accidentally rip it. So then I had to itch my ear. Sorry, I'm back. I just had to itch my ear for a minute. So, oh, the don't worry about him. He's just some. It was him, but a little bit more when he experimented too much. So then, don't worry. So, but then at Heroes versus Villains thing, not USJ, but so Deku and Zumi were on the pro heroes side, the heroes, and then his or their brothers and sisters, like him and her, were on the villains, and let's say things got south. The Deku, who had no idea, so he walks in, and him and Zumi was like, okay, or Zumi says, all right, ready? As they both like split up. I know in like different kinds of spectrums, like evil. So Deku meets Zark, or yeah, Zark, and or I said Zuko on. Sorry, Zuko meets Zark, and Zumi meets Zello, or yeah, I call now I renamed her to Zello. So so both of them went toe to toe with each other's, and so oh, the of course Deku won really fast because of his mutation, and and he didn't kill any, or so he so far. So he's like, oh, you want to play that game, eh? As he immediately transforms into the Nomu. That's so they both had their boxing match. Like, this is not totally accurate. That one and that those two, but I just used it as example. So they both like act like monsters, and Zumi and Zoro, or oh Zoro, they both or like or she says we both agree on one thing. The As Zoro says, what? Uh, you mean if those two go, you know, out of control, this entire place will fall down on us. As she walks, or actually, she says, I agree. As she just lets her go past, and she touched the bomb, heroes win. And because, as, as she tells All Might that the if my brother goes toe to toe, he will not stop until one, as the building will collapse onto us. I don't feel like dying today. as they're both, or he transforms Erms back into his normal like state. So he's like, we both agree. Yep. Let's not try killing us. Okay. As they're, he's like, yep, I agree. So Heroes won, no injuries. And so when they went back to their house, then Inko finally like, or she says to herself in her head, all right, ready? Okay. So she sat down with them, with Zuko and Zumi, and basically told them the truth of, you have the two of your brother, or you have your own siblings too, like your own. As he says, what do you mean, mother? As Inko, or they both said that you both have your own brother and sister. Is not cousins, but they're, as she's like, oh yay, what's their name? You know who they are. The ones that, because Inko says that, and that crazy, or she says that crazy man, remember him? Well, we both like, because we both had, like, there's 5 of you, or 4 of you. As she keeps explaining that Zumo, or let me explain it to you. So basically, him, Zark, is Deku's and Zumin's brother, and Zero, or Zaro, is their sister. So both of them had the same look, like, what? As in, Zumi, he says, oh yay. No wonder why they, as, so she says, and both of ya, like all 3, or all 4 of ya, came from me. As, because Shashi and Inko had 2 kids before, and, or actually, scratch that, 4 kids altogether. And so then they, all right. So, sorry, I had to adjust my headphones. So Sashi, he didn't tell Inko that that he had like a fifth kid. And so, but the next day was the same thing. That Deku went in because he was wearing the same clothes, and Inko, or not Inko, Zumi she was wearing her school uniform, or and so both of them went to school, and so before they went, or like when before they walked in, he got stopped by him because it was the actual him, not someone dressed up. So he says, "Ah, the have you two figured it out? Let's be one happy family." As Zumi, sorry, I'm scrolling. So she says, "Yep, we knew that you're her brother." So, and only person that was not late was her, and she was in class 1A, not support course. So she and him, of course, she says, have or we both, or all four of us, as they both, or all four of them, went to class to go on the bus to go to USJ. And his own, like, they, all four of them, or halfway there, Freb had asked, sorry, I'm skipping that part. Frebbit, or Froggy, he, I was asked everyone's quirk. First, she starts with Bakugo, and Bakugo and Deku were pretty good friends, like best friends in my what if. Or he, or Bakugo had a respect for Zuko, Zumi, Zark, and Zo. Not Zoo, Zo. Zones. So she, or so all of the, so he says, my quirk's called Explosion. Is it allowed, or I can build enough sweat to cause even more explosions? As he there said, okay, what's yours? As Ribbit looks at Deku, as he says, mine, in I have a lot of quirks, similar to my sister, as he like has his own hand on to her shoulder, and my brother and my other sister, as because they didn't know that he had his own, like, he had brothers, they thought he was crazy. When turns out it was the truth. So, and don't mind that picture. So, Zuko, or Frebit just like says like, "Oh, okay," and can you share one quirk with us? Sure. As he says, well, my quirk that mostly annoys us is self revival. What do you mean by that? See, self revival allows us to basically revive ourselves after we got killed. As they're like all talking and got off the bus, and USJ and the bunch of villains showed up. Deku turns and looks at his brother, the him, and he says, "Ready to or you'll transform." And as he says, "No problem." As he transforms into the most terrifying monster, as only people that really admire him was his or their own sisters. Like, all right, let them have their fun, okay? So, as they both of them, like, both of them went toe to toe with each other's, or with the like the Nomu that roars, and he starts charging right at them, no problem. So basically, 2 versus 1 situation, and then his both sisters, her and Zumi, was like, okay, as both of them got teleported to different areas. One to the water thing with Fribbit and Ida, or whatever his name is. And the other one and teleported where Momo and headphones girl earphone jack was at, as both of them, because she has she used her fire quirk and basically cooked the underwater villains alive. And that other girl, well, because she's a smart one, she just like, because her quirks are pretty powerful, and she also has like her when she gets like super angry, run, just run. She has the quirk almost similar to Zuku's Infinity, and so and Zero. So as she claps her hands together, and the villains that were around them, they all just vanish in thin air, like done. Where's some cup of coffee kind? So then the of course before she tells Ida that to go grab help thing. So so Ida did, or Tinya did, sorry. And as she, or not she, but he runs really fast and told All Might, and then All Might, he showed up and starts trying to kill that creature. So basically, or 3 versus 1 kind of battle. Because, and then his his or his brother says, "Little brother, aim for his head. That's his weak point, or that's his weakness." As he, as All Might and him agree, as they both like, he just straight up kills that creature by just jamming his elbow thing, like his arm guard, into the Nomu's brain. And don't worry, it's not the same Nomu that this guy created. It's a different one. So, and then Shiraki-sen left with just because Zuko had time manipulation too. Who? Because of Infinity. So he stops time, grabs Tomashimura, and like he just straight up like walks him to or to prison and came right back, and he's like, what did I miss? As because Zuko was grabbing some groceries, like like 3 sodas or 4 sodas, and two or 3 charcoals and 1 chips bag, like popcorn thing. I know. Name. Sorry. Okay. So, and All Mate says you missed a lot of things, and where have you been? As he says, well, I better not tell you. Well, as a radio station or the police station intercom says, some random villain just walked right in here. Her. So he says, oh man, you ruined it, man. As the villain, or as the doctor, or not doctor, forget his name, the detective had the same look as like, wait, what? You brought him in? Yep. As he says, yeah, as then the next day, like, you got 2 weeks off. Now, gonna do part two. Technically would be part one, but this is part zero. So have fun, take care, and see you guys and girls later.